everyone. In today sessions, we are going to talk about the very interesting terms, things that is a load balancer. While understanding the load balancer, we will discuss about the API gateway as well, because most of us will have a lot of confusion between the load balancer and API gateway, and sometimes we overlap their features as well. So let's start. Okay, so the first we'll understand what is a load balancers and what will happen if we are not using a load balancer in our applications. Okay, so in the client server architectures, we know that we uses a different type of clients like a mobile or web. These are the two main channels what we have as of now, and using these clients only we make all the requests to the servers. Okay, and to serve those requests, because we are not having only one clients who are using these channels, either it is a mobile or web, multiple requests comes, multiple users uses these type of either web or mobile channels to communicate with their servers or applications, right? So we cannot serve all those requests just using a single servers, right? So what we do, we uses a multiple servers. Okay, so now take example from this image only, it is very much clear that if you are not using load balancer, what will happen. So there are chances that all the requests are just going to only on single server only. Okay, and then what will happen, so this single server will not be able to serve all the request. Okay, and then the client will keep on waiting for the response, whereas we see the last clients, luckily that his request is going to the another server, because it's a completely on the random basis, and he is getting the response back within the defined timeline. Okay, so this is what will happen if you are not using the load balancer. Okay, the users will keep on waiting, and randomly the request will be forwarded to the different servers. Okay, in the next image we are going to understand what will happen if you are using the load balancer. Here this image, it's very obvious that we are using a load balancer. All the requests are going to first will go to the load balancer, then load balancer will have all the details of the different type of servers. Okay, and then we have a different type of algorithm. Okay, based on that the load balancer will decide the request should go to the which servers. Okay, so that we will understand. So here we'll understand what type of benefits we'll get. So first, definitely this very clear benefit is that it distributes the client request. Okay, okay, and then what, definitely it improves our response time. Okay, and it ensures that our application is highly available and reliable, right? So there is no delay. Okay, and right, so these are the advantages of using a load balancers. Now here we'll understand that we have a different type. I'm not going to the very much details, but we have a different type of load balancer, and that can be categorized into the based on functionality or based on configurations. Okay, so we have a multiple type of load balancers, like network load balancers, application load balancers. Okay, then we have a load balancer can be a hardware based load balancer, software based load balancers, right? So and these load balancer will follow different type of algorithm. Also few will follow the round robin algorithms. Okay, so that we won't go to the very much details. Okay, now the next we are going to understand the what type of providers are there available in the markets who provides this load balancing software, load balancing services to us. So in the market there are so many, and just primarily or mainly I have just listed down here. The first is if you are using Azure clouds. Okay, then we can use Azure load balancer is there. Not only specific if you are using Azure cloud, but yeah, for Azure load balancer is there. So then we have a Google cloud load balancing, AWS is there. Okay, HA proxy is there. okay, which we are using in our application, and this nginx is also there, which we are using for our load balancing our applications. Okay, so these are the mainly, and there are so many you can find out that there are so many load balance companies are there, which they provides the load balancing facility as software. Okay, now we are going to discuss here the what is how this load balancer is different from the API gateway. Okay, and sometimes we overlap their features and their functionality. Okay, so here very clearly is defined by someone, which I have taken this image from the medium. Okay, someone has is very clear I think distinctions between the API gateway and load balancer here. So if you talk about the API gateways, what it does, it provides the routing facility, authentication, authorizations facility. Also, it provides, okay, rate limiting, load balancing. So few API gateways they provide the load balancing also. Okay, then they provide the cachings, monitoring, loggings, right? All those things will be provided by the API gateway. Mostly it will redirect you to specific services. That's the main core functionality of API gateway. Whereas if you see the load balancers, the main function or purpose of using load balancer is to traffic distributions, and that is the main task. Okay, okay, and so now we'll do the as you saw in this article, load balancer is what it is. It is a hardware or software which works at the protocol or socket level, and its job is to balance the incoming traffic by distributing it to the destination with various algorithms. Okay, so load balancer act as a reverse proxy to the clients and distribute the load to the server. Whereas the API gateway is managed services provided by various hosting companies to manage API operations and take care of access control, response cachings, response times, authorizations, authentication, request throttling, and data handling, etc. I think here you can, the last lines maybe it will understand better, where in a complete end-to-end call, right? So when the client request and the response sent back to the users. Okay, so where these load balancer API gateway gets fits. Okay, here you can see the browser is there, then okay, and domain name resolutions means the DNS will be there, which will resolve the domain. Okay, and then the call goes to the load balancers, then load balancer will call to the API gateway, means which services has to, because the first call will go to the load balancer will redirect to a specific servers. Okay, load balancer will redirect to API gateway will determine which servers and which services has to be called, and then the backend services where it is deployed on a particular server, right? So I hope I think you will have a clear picture now. What is a load balancer? How does it? What is the main functionality or feature of load balancer, and how it's different from the API gateway? Okay. So thank you very much. That's it. What I wanted to discuss in this session. We'll again meet into the next sessions. Till then, thank you very much.